welcome back to Attingham Park and this Let's Play / maizePlus tutorial series thingy. Today I am going to do a couple of things. It's December, so I've progressed a few months into winter, and there were a couple of things I wanted to go over. So we're going to have a look at TMR mixing and some problems that people may have encountered. You may think this is about you and problems you have encountered, and if you're a certain person, you may have inspired this video, but you are not the only person that has inspired this video. So yep, a couple of things that we've seen in support questions to do with creating TMR and things not working. And then we're going to have a little bit of a look at pumps and hoses, and I'm going to build a pumps and hoses BGA. Probably going to start feeding manure into it, so we can start. We have quite a lot of manure now. We're up to 83,000 litres of manure, so that we can start producing some digestate to use in the spring on the fields. And also we have quite a lot of slurry, and so I'm going to put in one of the pumps and hoses slurry tanks at the cow farm. I know at the moment they do not link up with the built-in slurry store. I am going to use the magic of XML to move the slurry from the cow pen to the extra tank, and then yeah, I'm going to do it that way. That will allow us to pump from, because you can't pump from the from animal pens at the moment. I think Creative Mesh are working on it, but I'm not sure. That will allow us a way of pumping slurry from the cows out onto the fields. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do today. Just having a look at the animals. The cows that are in the beef cattle that are in the pasture are still grazing. What that says to me is that I need to put more beef cows in there, because the buffer that exists for grazing is still keeping them fed. It is quite a big pasture, and as they're quite young, they're not eating very much. We'll see how that goes through spring. The sheep I have had to feed, so I've been using some of the conditioned grass bales that I created in the cheaty feeding video to keep them fed, whilst I've been focusing on the Holsteins. They are, getting up there now, 21, 22 months. So next few months the milk production is going to start. At the moment I'm having to give them 2 feeder wagons full of TMR every day. We could maybe do with topping the straw up as well, so we're going to do that, and then we're going to get into the pumps and hoses stuff. So let's have a little chat first about TMR and mixing TMR. So this is a common one that crops up. This is the mixer is set on the default mixing ratio. If you're using the default mixing ratio, you are a lot more limited on what you can put in. So minimum wise, you need a minimum of 20% silage and 20% hay. Straw and mineral feed are optional, and you've got a maximum of 75% silage and hay, 30% straw, 7% mineral feed. The important thing with this one is the only silage you can put in is whole crop silage. So I can't make this at the moment because I have grass silage and I have maize silage. And so if you've got the mixer and it says to you, you can't put in your grass or your maize silage bales, you may be on the default mixture, which will only take whole crop silage. So that's the first thing. The second thing is if you are on the realistic mixture, the first thing is you probably need to close the map to show the ratio, or if you, I don't know if this still works in FS21, 22, no it doesn't seem to. Okay, ignore that. And for this one, the important thing, and yes, this may be about you if you think it's about you, is you are really flexible on what you can put in this mix, apart from the fact that you need to have 10% grass silage and 10% maize silage. Everything else is optional. So you could make a perfectly valid TMR from a bale of grass silage and a bale of maize silage. You could do that and fill the rest with hay, because you can have up to 100% hay with how this is set up at the moment. Yeah, you got. Although it says it's the realistic mixture, this is one that has the most freedom, because as long as you put some grass silage and some maize silage in, everything else is kind of free game. I've added sugar beet and potatoes uncut to this as well. I'm letting the mix cut them up. Yeah, so that's that. The other thing, and it's hopefully going to change in the update to maizePlus to make it clearer, as long as you have a valid TMR mixture, it will fill all 4 sliders with the 40-30-20-10 ratio. You do not need to put in mineral feed to get something to go in the mineral bar. You do not need to put a moisture food in to get something to go in the moisture food bar. As long as it's TMR based on the recipe, whatever recipe you set, it will fill the bars up. So as I say, we could just put grass silage and maize silage in here, which if you were feeding loose would only fill the base food. If you put it in a TMR mixer, it'll fill them all. And we're working on making that simpler in the way it's done in the XML and in the PDF. It won't change how it behaves in game, but hopefully it will reduce some of that confusion. So that's kind of the bits that I wanted to talk about with making TMR. We are going to fire the tractor up and move the mixer a little bit, because I left it in kind of a bad spot. And we're going to make some TMR. So I've been doing a fairly simple mix over the winter. Let's say you can go as complex or as simple as you want. If you watched the last episode, we made some fermented beet pot bales, and I've been using those. And basically, I've been doing a mix that is there's 4 bales and possibly some grain mix, depending on how much time I've had as I try and progress through. So we've got to the point where I could make the next video. Bet that alert came through. That's an alert on my other laptop. Obviously, with most farming, you would take the wrapper off. However, maizePlus is fairly advanced, and so actually the wrapper adds an essential mineral requirement for the cows. So if you just leave that on, it's perfectly fine. In fact, it's better. And I am joking. It's a long-running joke from the streams that we do. And if you're interested in that, then usually on a Thursday, there wasn't one this week, but over on the Alien Pools YouTube channel, he does an English language stream. He does that once a week, and it features me. Until now, mostly just rambling along and keeping up with chat, and having some conversation. In the future, and probably within the next few weeks, that will be turning into an English multiplayer. So we're going to be getting Calmsden updated with some of the features of the upcoming Terra Life package. I don't really want to say mod. And so we'll be starting to stream the alpha testing of Terra Life in FS22. And Terra Life takes maizePlus, fills it full of steroids, adds in so much more actual features to be confirmed. But yeah, it's going to take farming, animals, realistic agriculture in farm sim to a whole nother level, and we are going to be streaming that soon in English on a Thursday, and then Paul streams a whole bunch of other nights in German, so if you speak German, then you could go enjoy those as well. So far we've put in a bale of grass silage, a bale of hay, and a bale of maize silage. And if I drop that off here, we will see that that is already TMR. So, you know, we could already feed that to the cows and it would fill all of their nutritional requirements. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and grab a bale of the fermented beet pulp. I really like this, the fact that you can bale this as a food option. You can feed it unfermented, so you could just buy it, and fans of Tom Pemberton will have heard the Tom's dad, the Ginger Warrior, I think that's what he calls it, talking about using beet pulp for feeding on their farm because they've got some what they think is slightly acidic silage from first cut, and so they're thinking of using the beet pulp to sweeten that up and balance it out a bit. So, you know, for me, that was the first time I'd heard farmers talk about using beet pulp, so that was really cool. But there we go. That's all of the bales in. Just going to grab the bucket and we'll grab a little bit of, we've got about 900 litres free, I think. Not even that. 700 litres free. We're going to get a little bit of grain mix to put in as well. And then we'll go on to having a look at the pumps and hoses stuff. So, fair warning, I have looked at very little with pumps and hoses. I installed the slurry tank that I was talking about on here and then closed the game and forgot to save it. So we're going to be redoing that, and it means I can show you it as well, which is probably better. But other than that, I have done nothing with pumps and hoses really. So this is going to be partly me learning. So a bunch of you know me because I make tutorials, and this is more of a for me a first look rather than a tutorial. We're going to have a look at how it works with maizePlus. I know, and loads of people have asked, and they continue to ask. At the moment, you can only add whole crop silage into a pumps and hoses BGA. Creative Mesh are aware. We, the farming agency, are aware. It is being worked on. We obviously did the hot fix to maizePlus to get some of the issues really quickly. We're now working a bit slower on an update to maizePlus, which will pick up things, including that, hopefully. So maizePlus does work with pumps and hoses. It just limits what you can add in. Now, you're playing on PC, and you're a clever chap or chapess, aren't you? And you can use easy dev tools. So if you've got loose silage, you could load it into your trailer that you're using to take it to the BGA, and you could press F12 and you could then change it to be whole crop silage, and you could put it in your BGA. If you had bales that you wanted to sell, you could go into the items.xml file and change them from grass fermented to silage. So there are plenty of ways of working around it at the moment, whilst the two modding teams get it working properly. These are two fairly complex mods. It is not trivial fixing this stuff, but there are ways around it, so yeah. You can sort it yourself with a bit of creativity. I will need to feed them a second mix today, but I'll do that later on, off camera. I'm trying to get back to 6 or 7 videos a week, and this is a way of me getting a video done for Monday without too much additional editing and recording. And I know people like this slower style with me talking over gameplay that's not sped up, so this is for me a compromise, and it's trying to cover some information that people have been asking about, like the TMR thing that keeps cropping up. So hopefully for some of you that's helped with that issue. So yeah, the cows have got 40,000 now. They are going to eat more than that in a day, and they are very definitely not grazing now. You know, the grass is gone. One of the things that I'm thinking about for the custom geo that I run, which is the geo that I created, that most mappers that use have permission for, some ask for permission after they had used it, or when I said, hey, wait a minute, that's mine. But yeah, what I'm thinking is, because of the way that grazing interacts with it, I may change it so that at the moment it's not until the end of November that grass stops growing. I'm thinking of changing that to the end of October. Because that would stop grazing a little bit earlier, so you'd have to do a little bit more work. Not sure yet. Gonna have to mute that laptop. Hopefully I can deal with that in the edit a bit. I'm going to say at this point, actually, before we put in the slurry tank, thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel. It's been really nice, actually, that's been growing over the last few weeks with the new people finding the channel and stuff. So yeah, and even if you don't do Patreon or YouTube, thank you for watching, because that all helps as well, particularly if you comment, like, and subscribe. Right, we're going to do some landscaping first off. So I'm going to flatten this area. We're probably going to end up with the odd cow walking into the slurry tank, but I think putting it here is sensible. It's obviously right next to the existing slurry pit. So if we were in the real world, I need to clear that off. If we were in the real world, we could hopefully fairly easily link the two up. We are in Farm Sim World, so that's relying on the guys at Creative Mesh hopefully getting that working. You know, because it's a paid DLC, it's obviously locked content, so you can't go and play yourself. So yeah, we're just waiting for Creative Mesh to get this sorted. That should be a big enough area, so we're going to go in and into silos. And yeah, as I said, I know this doesn't hook up. I am 600,000 litres is plenty. My theory is that I'll just do a little bit of manual work. What is that overlapping with? Is my flattened area big enough? Not really. I'm going to do a little bit of manual work as needed in the XML to just shift that slurry manually. Yeah, it's not a massive job in my view to do that. So the other thing you could do is you could just use a tank to move it yourself. I'm sure it let me place that closer before. Looks like it's going to go in okay, so I'm going to do it that way. And then we'll just landscape around. Oh, bollocks. Well, that wasn't intended, was it? Oops. Oh well, luckily we managed to undo that. Landscaping. I'm going to add in, yeah, this save is not about money at all. So to be able to build the BGA that we want on here with pumps and hoses, I'm going to be adding in money. So I'm not worried about that little accident. If this was a real Let's Play, I'd have been really annoyed with that. But, you know, it's not. It's more tutorial than Let's Play, so let's just get that in there, and then we'll just sort of try and link that up with the road. There we go. So that's our slurry tank. As I said, we're going to have to manually move slurry in to it from the slurry pit that's built into the placeable until Creative Mesh fix it. But that's not a problem. And then, oh, where's the field that I want? We're going to go and have a look at the field that I'm going to build the BGA in. It won't fit in the area where I have the mini BGA, so we're going to keep the mini BGA and we're going to build a BGA in this field. Again, there is a bit of work to do to landscape it, I think, so that we can create a flat area. I have no idea how much space we're going to need to So I think what we'll do first is we'll paint in some asphalt. Wish you could rotate the square for painting landscapes. I think we're going to need quite a big area to do this. So you can see my mini BGA off in the distance there, looking rather spectacular, if I do say so myself. What we'll do with the rest of this field, if we don't use it for building with BGA, is I might grass it. You can never have too much grass. We might be able to create a small pasture in here for grazing some animals, maybe. A few options. Not entirely sure which one we'll take yet. But what I want to do now is sculpting, and we're going to level first. Because that should make it easier to place everything. And then we'll just soften the edges after that. So productions, I guess. So we've got the separators. I may put one of those in, but I think first we need more money. As I said, this series is not about 100 grand. Is not going to be enough. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. This stuff is not cheap. I will say that. Yeah, this series is not about money. It's kind of a long tutorial almost. So yeah, if that upsets you, you're in the wrong place. Productions. So we need a fermenter. That is quite large. Do we go really large, or do we go for... there's a slightly smaller setup there. So what this does is it takes in stuff to ferment and turns it into digestate and gas by the looks of it. I'm going to go big. We've got this whole field set aside for doing this. Let's not mess about. If I make that smaller, not the intensity. Landscaping is, as you will see, not one of my massive strong points. We'll deal with that separately. But that gives us a nice big area to work in. So back into productions, and we're going to go for the biggest fermenter then, which is fairly large, isn't it? So that's got a inside it. It's got what looks like a digestate output, and that's pretty much it. So I'm going to spin that round, and we'll put that roughly in the middle. There we go. So what do we need next? We have an aginator. So these generate electricity and heat from the methane. We are going to need more cash. Because we're going to go for the most expensive one. So does this hook up? It does not appear to. I know some of them do. Obviously this one doesn't. We're going to put this around the back. The concrete that it's putting down. Nope. Which texture is it putting down? Probably not any of those because they're not base game ones. Is it asphalt? Yeah, it's asphalt. Let's just paint this in. So we may not get much done with this in this video, but we'll get it built, put some manure in, and maybe I'll come back in a few days of game time with it, and we'll see what it's up to. So I've done nothing with these so far. So given that a lot of people know me for making mods that are BGAs, it's probably bad that I haven't. So there we go. So the triggers are there. Let's put it around the back. There we go. Boom. What have we got then? We've got the fermenter. So that's kind of a standard one. Or then we've got the drive-in one that you can put solids in with. And then we've got the gas torch and the separators. So I guess you put slurry in directly. Yeah, maybe that's what that is. Let's put slurry in. So let's add even more cash. These guys really aren't cheap. I am going for the bigger stuff, just to really show it off. So we'll go for the biggest fermenter. I love the way that connects. That's really cool. And we'll also have a look at the solids fermenter. And I think we can put that. Just thinking about driving in to it and having space to spin around. So I think we'll put that there. I don't know if you actually have to have this, but we'll put it in anyway. And I think that's all of those components. And then I guess under I don't think there's anything under silo extensions. Under silos, we've got the so these are all just different styles of liquid manure tank. Slurry tanks, I guess. It's not 1,000,000 litres. I could see us actually producing more than that. We level that bit off. We could put that there. And then we can do something with this nasty edge that I made. It's level, isn't it? There we go. So back into buildings and silos. So we've got these round covered ones. We've got these which are a slightly different style covered one. Or we've got these open ones, and it's the open one that I think I want to use. So we're going to stick that there. And then we can do something with this nasty landscaping that I've created. We're just going to do a bunch of softening. Make that a bit bigger. So I'm not the best at landscaping. You know, that's a something. It's a something. Not really worth doing anything with this bit down here, I don't think. So we're just going to grass it off. We're not going to be able to get a tractor or anything in to work it, so get some meadow grass. Just chuck that in. Maybe we'll put a couple of trees in or something. Soften the impact of the BGA. Trees. Got birch tree. Oak tree. Willow. Yeah. Go some more oak trees. Yeah. Okay. I wonder if we can fit a wall along that edge of some sort. Just kind of fence that off. And then just landscape all of this back to grass. Just to make it look a little bit nicer. And you can maybe take that corner off. Sculpting. Smooth. Throw some meadow grass across that. If it was a normal Let's Play, I so wouldn't be doing this. And then a couple of bushes, some more trees. Yeah, it's not perfect. That fence is a bit ropey. Can I do something with that landscaping to at least smooth it out? Probably not while the fence is there. Well, that's really nasty, isn't it? I hate big landscaping projects like this. I need to take out that bit of fence as well. There we go. Now, there is a chance Precision Farming might be very happy with us for doing this, but, you know, I'm not so worried about that. Again, I can't see us actually selling very much apart from the milk that we're producing, so that's okay. Let's chuck some plants along there. I might slowly tidy this up over time. We may actually leave. Yeah, we could do with putting that fence back. Let's put a tree in the corner here. It's funny that the small willow seems bigger than the big willow. Some decorations. Not done much with fences either. So if we do a smallish bit there, and then along there, and then there. How does that look? That looks slightly better, doesn't it? And then, oh, that's high. That's very high. That's going to be fun. And then we've got this guy to put in the solids easily. And let's have a look in the productions menu. So we've got a fermenter. So, which we can select for storing, selling, distributing, or distributing it across the BGA. Okay. And then we've got those. And we put sugar beet, cut, whole crop silage, manure, or slurry in. We get gas and digestate out, and then the power plant turns the gas into electricity and sells it automatically. Okay, so I guess we go get some manure. So far the cows, excuse me, drinking a can of Monster. I know, I said I shouldn't, but I didn't have any coffee made. I didn't have any cold brew coffee made, which is what I'm drinking instead of Monster. So I was going to spread the manure across the fields, obviously, but I think because I want to test out the pumps and hoses BGA, I'm sure I might have said modular BGA a few times in that last bit. We're actually going to put that into the modular BGA, the pumps and hoses BGA instead, and actually it's really convenient because it's just here. In a normal Let's Play, I can't see me being able to afford this stuff. I really can't. There are obviously some of the pumping stuff, yes, and there will be ways of using that. So if we look in here now. Okay, so that is transferring the manure into the fermenter. So we should activate the fermenter. And I wonder if we can tip manure from the trailer into the other bunker, or whether that would need belts or buckets. So we'll have a look at that. That could be a whole nother DLC, couldn't it? Belts and buckets to go with pumps and hoses. Said it right. Yeah, belts and buckets coming soon, not to a DLC near you. Would be a good name for a mod pack, wouldn't it? Belts and buckets. So we've got like 3 trailers full here. I'm going to get these in some way or other tipped into the BGA, and then I think we'll call this a video, and we'll come back in the next one and look at how things have worked. So yeah, that is a belts and buckets job. Let's just bring up F5. Yeah, so the triggers are inside the bunker by the looks of it. So definitely a good idea if you've got lots of stuff that you're doing loose to use the trailer jobby. That's a technical term, by the way, if you weren't aware. Trailer jobby. As I said, I did feel like I should be able to back further into here. I have no idea what any of these things run at. So, power plant not on yet. I guess we've not produced anything yet. So, idea how much is in there. Okay. It is one of the things I dislike about it being a paid DLC, is that everything is locked in the encrypted data files. Which makes it more tricky. One thing that I have not tested yet, and I will test, this guy produces methane. That's annoying. I have the BGA network distributor, which gives you twice the value for methane. So that might be an option. Looking at the... I need to remind myself of the prices. But looking at how it takes 1,000 litres of methane and turns it into 9,000 litres of electricity, I think you're probably better off selling the electricity. It looks like it sells it directly, so you can't put that through the network generator. I will have a look for the next video. I'll get the prices handy again, and we'll have a quick look at some of the finances. It's very tricky as to whether you can actually get this thing into that bunker or not. Does seem to have a good capacity. Oh, I need to put silage in with the manure. And I don't have any whole crop silage. Well, that's an annoyance. Do you remember what I said about being clever chaps and chapesses and having F12? Let's get ourselves a wonder if that'll work. And do I have the AGI pack active? I do not. So we're going to lease us a bit of a belt system. I wouldn't normally use the 2 base game ones, but I want to get this video recorded and sorted so that I can get it out for Monday. I'm actually recording it on Friday, but generally I don't really record at the weekend, or I don't do, you know, this kind of recording at the weekend. It's going to be a pain in the ass to get out of there, isn't it? I tend to play at the weekends, and then which gives me all the footage I need for the adding the voiceovers to afterwards. But generally, I don't actually do the voiceovery stuff at the weekends. I tend to take a break from that. Yeah, I hadn't spotted that we needed both. But we're going to improvise. Improvise, adapt, and overcome, as Clint Eastwood said in Heartbreak Ridge. That's such a good film. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's really old, but it's really good. So yeah, we're going to get a trailer full of maize silage. We're going to F12 it into whole crop silage. And then I'm not sure how we're going to get it in the bunker. That could be fun. So I'll let this fill up and I'll be back in a bit. Almost full. Yeah, definitely in the next video I'll have a look at a little bit of the financial side of this. You know, the cost of the value of silage and the manure versus what we're going to get out of it, because I like doing that sort of stuff. So there we go. We have a full trailer of maize silage, which we can't put into the BGA, can we? Oh well. You know, Ways and means, people. Ways and means. If we swap that through the magic of F12 into whole crop silage, then we should be able to put it in. What I'm worried about is that we're going to have to get all the way up to the bunker. And we might need to bring the belt over to do that. A ramp would be handy, wouldn't it? Again, there are ways of doing this. Don't want to get rid of that silage with F12. I'll see you over there. One of the mods that I would often use is an edited version of this, which one moves faster and B picks up direct from the ground. If I'd realised I was going to need one, I would have probably had that installed. The downside of that one is it has a monumental pickup area and can pick up pretty much everything that you may not want it to do. Like it would have probably emptied the manure pit as well as the silage clamp. This is probably showing you the fact that I really haven't watched very much of anything on these and how they work. I watched some of FSG's preview stuff. See, he previewed it with an early copy because he's a silver Giants partner. And I know Paul streamed some of it, but he streamed it in German, and me no speaky well enough. That seems to be working, I think. There we go. We're getting silage going in now as well. Kind of slowly, but yeah, so I've not really seen. I've seen people using some of the hoses side of things, and I'm really interested in getting into that, which we'll do in a future video. Probably what I'll do is run through the rest of winter on here, so we'll come back on the last day of February where we can get into doing some field work, and hopefully by then I'll have a BGA that's produced some stuff. Interesting that, and you can put slurry in, but it doesn't show where slurry is used or sugar beet cut, which is kind of weird. If anyone's used it and put either of those in, let me know. I don't like the idea of that, burning 16% of the methane produced. I guess things are getting better as we fill it up. Let's run around and have a look. It's burning stuff. It's burning stuff. Nothing we can do with that one. Let's go around to here. Okay, so that's this. That's the power plant, which has some methane in it. So we're doing something, I guess. Yeah. I did a thing. I think at this point I am going to leave this here. So yeah, next video we'll come back and we'll be having a play with the results of this, which will be a few months of game time later. If you enjoyed this video, then please click the like button. If you've got comments or suggestions or help around using this stuff, please stick them in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And I can't remember if I've done it once already, because I've recorded 2 videos back to back. So I'm going to say thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. Really appreciate you all supporting the channel. It is partly thanks to you guys that I've been able to order the new PC that I'm going to be using for editing and rendering next week, hopefully, when the bits all arrive. Yeah, that kind of regular support gives me the confidence to invest some of the income from the channel into that. So thank you, and I will catch you next time.